Hello, everybody.
Hi.
And welcome back to another installment of
Making Musically Challenged.
All right. So, I'm hoping that the sound isn't too terribly echoey. We're back in the hallway again.
Yeah. We're too lazy to go to the closet.
It's so much easier because there's actually a desk in the hallway,
It is.
and I don't have to clear off my husband's. He's taken over my podcast table with his own things.
He has. I have noticed that. He uses it as like a little gaming table for his drinks and his controllers.
He does. And so it's just almost more effort than it's worth to drag that little table into the closet.
Yeah. Now, so as a disclaimer, the cats are out again.
Yes, the cats are out. You'll probably hear them pouncing or meowing at some point. We might get distracted by
you'll definitely hear Milo meowing.
By a floof. But anyway.
Right now they're being good. Mm-hmm. They're being so good.
But anyway, so today we are discussing the Centaurs.
The Centaurs.
So
is it Centaurs or Centaurs? Because I've been pronouncing them Centaurs.
I've always said Centaurs. I don't know. It's up to you. You pick. This is a choose your own adventure.
I don't think it is. I think it was actually supposed to be your actual pronunciation.
I call them Centaur. You call them Centaur. It's like tomato. It's fine. Caramel. Caribbean.
Pecan.
Potato.
That one's less accurate, but sure.
Anyway, so this ends.
Oh, and there they go.
This ends our 12 races, official races.
Yeah, this is number 12. Mm-hmm. We made it.
This is our 12th podcast episode. Good on us.
Very nice. So this will be the last official race we're talking about as far as like
official
race. We still have a couple of sub races. Well, that's what we call them.
So we still have Zootomos to cover, vampires to cover, and we are going to go more.
Hey, let's not fight. And there they go.
So we're going to do vampires and Zootomos, and we also are going to do more of a deep dive into the Zodiac. So those will be like our next 3 episodes. And then we have more stuff in store for you guys after those are finished. But this ends the deep dives into our 12 races of Harmonia. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of sad I won't be doing the races anymore. Like, I still got like a couple more, and then like at least for the drawing portion of it, the things that I have left to do are obviously I want to draw a lot of the minor characters that we've been talking about here and there, like people's parents or like leaders of the communities. I really want to draw Varys, and I really want to draw King Thing, like, and Cedric too. But like, I really want to draw King Thing.
Yeah. So, as Mary Beth draws these characters, she'll be releasing them on her TikTok, which is Escape Artist. So check those out. They are supposed to also be going on our Instagram. However, I think someone's been slacking on that.
Oh no, she checked.
Yeah. So
I think I'm gonna get chewed out after this podcast.
Quite possibly. It's fine.
No one's looking at the Instagram.
Because you haven't posted in like 8 weeks, dear.
I know. The last race I posted was the dwarves.
Yeah.
I haven't even posted the dwarves because like I got stuck on them because I was like, what am I gonna say about them?
Anyway, so we're supposed to have an Instagram, but our artist has been slacking. It's fine.
The art's there. I just need to put it on there.
They've also been slacking on sending the stuff to me so I can put it up on the website.
Oh, shoot. I forgot.
So we're going to have another, like, dump of lookbooks on the website soon. So now...
Sorry, guys. I have been busy. I've recently gotten a new job, and I've been training for that, and
to be fair, we both have gotten new jobs lately, and we both have been training for them. So we've not had as much time to put into the show as we would have liked.
I'm just trying to keep up with the TikToks.
But as long as we get the TikToks and the podcasts out, at least we have some content. Hopefully soon, within the next few weeks, we'll get all of our other social media caught up. Mm-hmm. If anyone out there listening is a social media guru, contact us and we'll give you a job because obviously we're slacking.
I don't social media.
Yeah.
Unless I absolutely have to. I'm that person.
You do actually absolutely have to right now, but that's
I know, but like I'm that person that I refuse to get on Facebook, except for once every 3 months.
No, so here's a funny little anecdote for that, off the topic of Centaurs or Centaurs completely. But like last night, I had asked Juan, I was like, "Are you gonna go play your game?" And he goes, "No, I'm playing my favorite game right now." And we were just like sitting in bed, and I said, "Well, what game is that?" And he goes, "It's called Making My Wife Happy." Or no, he goes,
it's so cheesy.
He goes, "It's called Taking Care of My Wife, and the end level is making you completely happy." And I'm just over here like,
stop.
I love him.
Your husband does not look like the type to spout that stuff.
I know.
But he does.
I know.
And it makes it worse somehow.
I know, it's great. I love it.
I don't. I get to hear about it. It's not fun for me.
Yeah. It's fine.
Whatever. Anyways, let's
so
talk about Centaurs.
First 5 minutes, completely off topic. It's fine. But seriously, if any of you guys... Oh, that was the anecdote. I was going to put it on Facebook, and like he's like, "You don't have the guts to put it on Facebook." And so like I typed it out in a little post, and then I just like deleted it. Because like I don't social media. Like my life is my private life, but we do have a show, so we really do need to like get better at social media.
Yeah, because it's to help promote the show, and also just because people are interested.
Like people want to see it. People don't always get on TikTok, but they get on Instagram, what have you. So yes, if you social media, please reach out to us because we need help with that, and we will pay you for that.
Yeah, I will say when it comes to the TikToks, after I'm done with the two sub races, when it comes to doing the minor characters, it's probably not going to be posting every single day, just because it does take a longer time to do those.
But we're still definitely
doing it weekly. I'm at least going to try to do at least 2 a week.
But anyway, this is not the end of
No, we're not done. We've got a lot to do.
We're just having to like change tactics since we're like changing. We're no longer doing like the deep dives into the races or the sub races. We're gonna have
more character deep dives here and there. Honestly, I might, because I also want to go back and we're gonna redo some outfits for some of our characters. We've kind of... Do we want to talk about that at all?
No, I think we'll save like character deep dives for our character deep dive episodes.
Well, yeah,
but I think we're almost 10 minutes into this episode. We've not even talked about the Centaurs.
Oops.
So Centaurs, they are sapiosexual. They are attracted to intelligence. They are a male and female race. Their zodiac is Sagittarius.
I like Sagittarius.
And Sagittarius, you probably recognize the name because we have that zodiac in our system as well. And when we do our zodiac deep dive, we will discuss that in a bit more depth and detail.
It's like half of the zodiacs from their world
are from our world as well. Yeah. And yeah, we'll get into that on a later episode because it's a whole thing that we're doing and we find it really interesting, but we can't really discuss it now because we're discussing Centaurs, not zodiacs.
But Sagittarius is important.
Yes.
Because he's going to play a fairly prominent role once we get to the Centaur community, just because of how much the Centaurs value him and like revere him. Because again, they're all about knowledge, and Sagittarius has all the knowledge.
And the Centaurs are, so we've discussed how Bob is from our world and he falls into Harmonia. The Centaurs are actually the only race that is aware of our world, and it's because of Sagittarius. So we'll definitely be seeing a bit of that in the show, which is going to be a really interesting little twist. However, today, like most of our episodes in our race histories, is we're not going to be talking about really what's going on in the show. We're going to talk about the history of the race.
Let's go ahead and talk about their inspiration first.
Okay, let's do that.
So I'm taking a lot of inspiration from Native American culture for the Centaurs, especially for like their clothes. Well, they're half clothes because they don't wear pants. They're half horse. They don't really need pants. I'm going to put little like, I guess you would call them ankle bracelets on them.
Okay.
Because I think those would look really cool. But yeah, their tops and dresses for, I guess, the females are going to be inspired by Native American designed clothes. And when it comes to how they look, I'm doing some hairstyles similar to Native Americans as well here and there. Now, as far as the coloration of the Centaurs, their coloration is actually based on different horses. So, like, they don't really have skin tones. It's more like fur tones.
Like Palomino or like the speckled horse.
Yeah, I did the dappled gray one for one
Mhm.
of my examples, the female, and then the male was like your basic like red and white with like the stripe going down the face, which looked really cool. Honestly, kind of looked like war paint, so I was like, that looks cool.
Oh, speaking of war, that's one thing that we're doing with the Centaurs is typically when you think of warriors, you think of big, strong men. Grr. But the females in this race are actually the warriors, or they were once upon a time. That we don't really have warriors in modern day Centaur area. They live in Forterre. Forterre, by the way, that's their island name is Forterre. So we don't really have male warriors. We have female warriors. Do you want to get into why that is?
We can transition over there, sure.
Okay.
So the reason they have female warriors is this was also a long time ago. So
this was about 200 years prior to the Great Key Change.
So
this was a while ago.
250 years by
our show
standards, because key change and whatnot. So we talked about the sirens last week. It was last week.
I think so.
Pretty sure. No, we talked about giants last week.
Oh.
I apologize. We talked about sirens 2 weeks ago. So this, as we mentioned, back in the history of the sirens, they can only mate with males from other races. That's how they procreate.
Because they don't have males of their own.
Yes. Go back to listen to that episode if you want to know why, because we talk about that there. I'm just going to touch on the basics. So way back in their history, because they don't do this now, they would draw men in, because like sirens, if you know what a siren is, you know how it works.
You know the siren song, the call, the hypnotic.
Yes. Some races were okay with it, and some were not. One of the ones that were not were the Centaurs. And
I think we do need to explain this before we go further. So the Harmonian Isles are basically one big landmass, except for Forterre. They're kind of on an island on their own, just a little bit off the coast of Harmonia.
Yes. So like Hawaii.
Yeah, so take like America with Hawaii. Kind of like that, except not as far away.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
So the obviously the Centaurs were not okay with the sirens more or less taking their men. So the women of the tribe, or the tribes, I guess, because there's more than one, rose up, and they basically had a war with the sirens to keep them from doing this. And this would happen pretty much every year, because sirens only mate once a year. So that's kind of how that started. And honestly, it got to the point where they were just so tired of fighting. They decided to take more prominent measures, and they actually went to Sagittarius for help.
And so here, the mages, because the Centaurs are a race that can use mage magic, which we'll do another episode that like deep dives into the 4 different types of magic in this world. But they are one that uses mage magic. They went to Sagittarius and they were like, hey, this is an issue. We don't like it. We want it to stop. So they combined their mage magic with the zodiac magic of Sagittarius, and they basically put up this magical vortex of like wind and storm around their island to keep the sirens away. And so for the past 100, 150, 200 years, something like that, there's just been a vortex around this island, and they've basically become forgotten. They're not a part of Harmonia, just like the giants were not a part of Harmonia before the Great Key Change. Or after the Great Key Change.
Well, everybody knows that the giants are there.
Everyone knows the giants are there. They're just not a part of the Harmonian Alliance, but no one remembers that the Centaurs were even there.
Well, at this point, they're mostly just myths.
They're myths and legends. Like, only the sirens really even remember them.
Honestly, it's kind of like Atlantis. So, obviously, our group finds out. Well, you'll see that in the show, how they find out. But that's why they're not part of Harmonia. Is because they've been isolated all this time. Yeah, they've kind of shut themselves off from the rest of the world. And we will see them towards the 3rd season. So we're not going to really see them in the very beginning, but towards the end of the show, we will be hearing whisperings of them, and our group is going to go out in search of them. But because they were not around for the Great Key Change, we are going to dive more into not necessarily like their history, but their practices, because that's what we're going to focus on in our show. And I just find their practices so
unique and different and interesting.
Well, again, the Centaurs value knowledge.
Mhm.
So when it comes down to it, like they're going to learn a lot. Like our characters are going to learn a lot from the Centaurs because like they do things so differently, and
Mhm.
it's something that they can take away from it.
Now, the biggest thing, and we've touched on ceremonies of like birth
We
and
love
death.
ceremonies in this show. Well, it's because like, every culture does something different, and we just like
Mhm.
to see those things.
Right, but for the most part, like yeah, each culture, especially ones when it's like an all female race or an all male race or a non-binary race procreates, we've kind of mentioned, the different ways they do that with the help of the zodiac magic. And then when it comes to when they die, there's different ceremonies kind of how they deal with death. Like the giants go back to dirt, the Papuras get buried under the tree that they were birthed from, and they go back into their life tree. And
Remember that comment you made last time? Processed fruit.
yes, they are processed fruit. No, that's very no. We're not gonna do that. But so each culture, for the most part, has a different like burying ritual, but at the same time, they Harmonia is based around song, heart song, soul song, all of that. And once you pass, your family and your friends sing a song that basically releases your soul back into the element from which you came.
Basically, how they do funerals.
The Centaurs do that a little differently. And this is probably why I love them so much, is because instead of singing the centaur soul back into the earth, they let the centaur soul roam until the centaur soul says, "Okay, now I'm ready to go back." So they let their elders stay in Harmonia, for lack of better words, as a ghost.
Yeah. So I was gonna say they're ghosts.
But it's more like a repeated memory which the centaurs will use to teach lessons. And if they really want to be called upon, there's like a whole ceremony where they bring up the spirit and they can discuss things with it, they can learn things from it. And then once the spirit of that centaur believes that there's nothing else that they can teach, then they're like, "Okay, now I'm ready for you to send me back into the earth." And that's something that we're going to be really discussing and learning with in the show. And I just find it fascinating.
Well, there's a type of like I guess you could say wisdom or insight that comes once you have passed on. So that's why the ghosts stick around to pass on that wisdom, because they're more insightful of things. Like they see the bigger picture. It's a whole thing.
Right. And it's like, you learn most from people who've lived the life. And so why not, stick around after your life to pass on what you know, or, just like the knowledge that you've gained. And so centaurs truly, like, they love knowledge, they love wisdom, and they've just decided they've discovered that this is the best way for them to continue on learning, is just to learn from people who are technically 2 or 3 generations older than you and are still around today. Not every centaur obviously wants to stick around, and it's up to them, when they're ready to go. So the centaurs really have like a huge respect for their elders, and their elders also have a huge respect for the newer generations, which is not something that we see, especially in like modern day America, I feel like.
Yeah, there's always that disconnect here.
Yeah, and I know like in other areas of the world, the respect is a lot more, and so I really want to see that kind of play out here, because in most of the show we're dealing with people in their like 20s to 30s. We're not really dealing with children. We're not really dealing with people much older than the 20s to 30s, maybe 40s, but we're in this one generation. But I love the idea of playing with the generational gap, and how it can be very useful if utilized in the correct way, and very respectful if utilized in the correct way. And we're really going to see that with the centaurs.
Yes, and it's also going to be nice because we're going to be doing more character studies in this particular territory, because there's no politics to deal with, which will be a nice break.
Yeah, this show is very
politic heavy,
very
with more world issue heavy. World and like Harmonia terms, I guess.
Well, because Harmonia, what we're doing with Harmonia is we're mirroring a lot of the issues that we have in our own world. But once we get to Forterre and to the Centaurs, because they've been disconnected from the world for so long, they don't have these issues.
No.
They have their perfect little paradise. And so our characters are really going to learn, okay, what is true happiness from them? Like how can you make a world like this work so well,
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a really interesting few episodes, I think, when we get to the Centaurs.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm excited about the whole thing, but
mm-hmm.
the Centaurs are going to be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to go to their little paradise.
Yeah. So I'm really excited to see them. Like I said, it won't be till closer to the 3rd season that we really get into them, but I'm excited nonetheless. Yeah. So that's the Centaurs. I know we've only been talking for like 20 minutes right now. So is there anything else that you want to add? Because I know our last couple episodes, I feel like, have been really short. But to be fair, it's been the Centaurs and the Giants, and they were not part of the Great Key Change, so we didn't really have that history to talk about.
Because they're the only two that weren't part of it for obviously reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because obviously King Thane had no idea about them, so there was no stopping to the Centaur Island period. So I guess we should probably make that clear.
Yeah. So King Thane had no idea. Like no one knew about them. Like the Sirens had like whispers of them because they are the only ones who ever really went to the island in semi-recent history, but even then, like, they've kind of forgotten because it has been 200 years. And Sirens have just a normal lifespan. They don't live 200 years old. They're lucky if they make it to like 90.
We were thinking about doing different age ranges, but then we realized it was just too complicated, and it just didn't make sense.
It's not so much that it would have been too complicated, it's that we wanted to have like mixed race couplings, and we were like, well, how are we going to do that if one person was going to live to 300 years old and the other person was only going to live to 60? Like, we didn't want to.
I mean, I watch a lot of anime and I know how it's done in those, but
I don't particularly like that trope. Now, we do kind of see that with the elves and the vampires a little bit.
Yes, because the vampires actually, they're the ones as long as they want,
yeah.
more or less.
But we'll get more into that once we do the vampire deep dive.
Yes, I'm excited about the vampire deep. I'm excited about both the vampire and the Zuotomo deep dive because we've talked
such rich
nothing about the Zuotomos, and we've touched on like the vampires here and there. And those are going to be next. Actually, we need to figure out which one we're going to do first.
I don't know. Yeah. So up next, we've got the Zuotomos, the vampires, and the Zodiacs. How about this?
And the magic.
And the magic. So vampires, Zuotomos, Zodiacs, and the magic episode are going to be our next 4. So how about you guys let us know which one you want to hear next, and we'll do that.
We could do that. If anyone has a yeah.
So yeah, we say this every episode. We love talking to you guys. We love it when you reach out. So reach out, let us know. Do you want to hear about the Zuotomo history, the vampire history, the Zodiac history, or the history of magics next? And depending on the most popular answer, that's the one we'll do.
I have no idea how I'm going to draw the magics.
Yeah, we'll find out. But yeah, so let us know by Saturday. Oh no, wait, this comes out on Friday.
Yeah, because we shoot our podcast a little early.
No, so let us know by Sunday. So Sunday.
Yeah, because I have to start drawing Monday, guys.
Yeah, so Sunday, February.
Just big audio.
Oh no, sorry.
What was that?
It was a TikTok.
Of course it was.
Sorry about that, guys.
Nida looks so confused.
The last day of February 2021, Sunday, February 28th. Have all your answers in by then. You contact us via TikTok for Escape Artist or mel.rose. Go to our website and contact us through there. We say this every week. We love talking to you guys, and let us know which episode you want to hear next.
Yes.
And that's what we'll do. Again, we plug this every episode. We are hiring for background artists and animation artists, voice actors, and like I pleaded for at the beginning of the episode, a social media strategist person, because we don't social media.
We don't. We really need a team, and I'm really excited to get a team. And by the way, once we will be able to pay you.
Yeah, we're going to pay you. It'll be like actual like competitive rates. I know we say this every week, but we've seen things like on TikTok or on like in social media somewhere, like people are putting together crews for these things, but they're like, we're not going to pay you. And people don't, people are really wary of that. Like, I even came across a job posting on Indeed where they're like, we need a really talented editor for this shoot, but you're not going to get paid. But if you're good enough, we might consider you for the feature that's going to come after the short. And I'm just like,
that's not okay.
That's not okay. So like, we want to
pay
make sure
you
that
for your work. If you want quality, you need to
exactly.
You need to pay for it, people.
So we want to make sure that you love working with us. And I want to avoid saying the term, working for us, because we want this to be a family. We want this to be like a group of people with like minds who genuinely love what we do, and we're all working together.
Mm-hmm.
We are the company officially called Ethereal Studios, ATHIRIAL. We also have a website for that, so go check that one out if you want to see what our upcoming projects are going to be.
I still haven't posted the logo. I should show that on a TikTok one day. This is our logo.
Well, you can put it on our YouTube right here, right now.
Well, I mean, like, it's on the YouTube because it's the.
This is true.
This is the little tag. Yeah, that thing.
But yeah, we want to create, just a fun atmosphere of people with a collective like mind, just love for animation and storytelling. And yeah, I think that covers it. That covers my plea for the week.
We got all the plugs in.
Yeah. But yeah, check out our website. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks, I'll get the rest of the lookbooks up once they are sent to me. And we have multiple ways of reaching out to us. So reach out to us. We love talking to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And please rate, subscribe, and comment, especially on like Apple Podcast, because that really boosts our viewership, and we really want this show to do well and get out there and be seen, because we think that it could be, almost, I don't want to like toot my own horn and say revolutionary, but
well, honestly, when it comes down to it, especially in regards to the LGBTQ plus community,
there's not a lot of representation in media that I've seen.
Well, and the ones that do, it's like they dip their toes into it, but they don't like go full throttle.
Yeah, and so that's what we're doing, and we just want to represent this wonderful community in like the best of lights with all of the love, and we just want everyone to be able to enjoy it, whether they're in that community or they're not in that community, and just kind of start creating that open world.
Well, anytime I watch any piece of media at this point where it has anything having to do with LGBTQ plus community,
I'm so happy, and they do it well.
Well, no, that's where I'm going with that. Well, I'm happy, but like, it's when they introduce like something or someone that has not been introduced in media before. That's when I get super excited. I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what we're hoping for this, and we would love anyone who wants to join us. So please, like I said, reach out, love us, talk to us. Yeah. And we're excited to just converse with you.
Yes.
So we will see you all next week for the mystery next episode.
The mystery episode.
Remember, February 28th, 2021. Get your votes in, and that's our next episode. Vampires, Duotomo, Zodiac, or Magic. And we love all you guys.
Yeah, pretty much. Bye.
Bye, everyone.